What about your website? You're going to continue your website?
Yeah, I like doing the website. The website's a lot of fun. You know, a lot of people never really get a chance to, I mean, you can buy the magazines and stuff and see the pictures of the cars, but you don't really get a chance to hear them and what it sounds like in the car, what it sounds like outside the car, especially cars like the Lamborghini Miuras. Most people have never heard one run. Most of them seem to be in museums and things, although a lot of guys do drive them. So it's fun to be able to shoot it and walk around it and tell people the pitfalls of it. You know, the chassis flex, and you know, they're not, you know, none of these cars are the greatest car. They all have some problem, but the fun thing is that the things they do well more than overshadows whatever faults they might have. You know, I had some kids on my show once. They were like kids from like 9 to maybe 14, and they run a website. I think it's called Car Paparazzi, something like that. And they just run around Beverly Hills and Westwood and take pictures of cool cars. And they put this up on their website, and the other kids comment and, you know, talk about it and things like that. And this is like an adult, grown-up version of that. You know, we just give people a chance. Oh, you got a phone call for me? Yeah, I'll be over in a bit. It gives people a chance to hear the cars, see what they look like on the street. You know, a Lamborghini Miura is, whenever you see them, they're always static. They're parked somewhere. But when you see one going down the road next to an SUV, you realize, oh my God, that really is low. Wow, it really looks cool snaking through traffic. And nowadays, most cars are a lot lower than they were back in 1966 when that was made. So imagine the impact. There were still cars from the 40s on the road when the Lamborghini Miura came out. So imagine what it looked like going down the street back then. But that's primarily why we do it. First I talk about the history of the car, then I talk about my experiences with it, either rebuilding it or the problems we had. And then we go for a ride, and we keep it pretty simple.
Did you ever think of, I mean, using your TV background, taking that further and maybe turning the website into a show? Or?
Well, the website's kind of already been nominated for an Emmy, so that was pretty good. Although that wasn't our intention. It kind of is a show, really, the way we do it now. And I think TV shows, as we think of them now, will soon be outdated. You know, kids now just go to YouTube or go watch whatever video they want to watch. The idea of appointment television every night at 10 o'clock or every Wednesday or whatever time you're going to tune in and watch this, I think those days are pretty much over. Between TiVo and satellite and YouTube, you can dial up and watch whatever you want when you want to. So, and that's really what we do at the website.
With your impending, or you're not sure you're retiring, but do you ever see a time when you do retire or move some of your automotive activities to the forefront and not just a hobby?
Well, they kind of are in the forefront now. I mean, my whole life is in my garage, with the exception of my job, so it kind of is in the forefront. I mean, all the events and things I go to are usually automotive related. I don't go to many show business related events, so it kind of is in the forefront, sort of now. I mean, I got into show business because I used to wash cars for a living, and I thought, well, I'm never going to have any of these cars by washing them. I better get one of those high-paid jobs I keep reading about in the magazines.
Yeah. Do you, I mean, I've gotten to know you, and it seems the thing that hurts you the most or bothers you the most is when people, it seems jealousy, and when people think things about you that aren't true.
Well, jealousy's okay. I mean, the worst thing is, like, a lot of times you'll see, like, on these entertainment, Jay Leno's secret Hollywood car collection, you know, that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I have to admit, you know, a lot of people act the way I acted when I was a kid. You saw a rich guy with a fancy car, you just assumed he was a jerk. And I guess in a lot of ways maybe I am a jerk. But that's okay. But I try to offset that a little bit. I mean, you know, whenever I see a kid, I always let kids sit in the car, let them sit behind the wheel. You know, I got a letter from a kid once who had lied to his friends and told them that I was his uncle. And, you know, and I took him out in my Lamborghini. You know, this whole elaborate thing that kid did. He didn't live far from here, so we went over one day and I drove him to school in the Lamborghini, you know, and we waited till his friend, we pulled up, you know, and the doors go up and the kid gets out. And his friends are like, whoa! And I go, goodbye, nephew Timmy, whatever his name was, you know. Okay, Uncle Jay, you know, it's just funny. But he had written me this letter. He had this huge, he had done this elaborate lie that I was his uncle and we drove around in Lamborghinis all day long. So I took him to school, and that was kind of fun. So when I was a kid, you know, people let me sit in their car. So whenever kids want to sit in the car, I let them stand on the seat, because that's the only way we're going to get the next generation interested in this stuff.
Well, speaking of the next generation, I mean, we work hard to foster that and have done editorials on it. Now, what ideas do you have for? I mean, it seems to be an important goal of yours too.
Yeah, we have the scholarship at McPherson College. Although I've never been to McPherson, I've been supporting them for 12 years. Not supporting, I mean being a supporter. We started this, I guess, about 12, 13 years ago. They're the only school in the country that gives a degree in automobile restoration. You know, I think we're the only country in the world where if you want to be a mechanic, you just say, I'm a mechanic, and you're automatically a mechanic. You know, in Germany, if you say you're a mechanic and you don't have the paperwork to back it up, you go to jail. You're a criminal. You're a liar. Yeah. You can't pretend to be a doctor. Why should you be able to? But we do in this country. Every kid that works at a gas station is the resident mechanic, but they're not. And so consequently, the word mechanic becomes one of those generic terms that means someone doesn't know what they're doing. But when you graduate with a degree from McPherson, you can go work for any of the big restoration shops. We've placed kids at Mercedes-Benz Classic Center in Germany and at Nissan in Japan, and that's pretty exciting. Plus, you know, if you tell your parents you want to be a mechanic, they cry and they think what went wrong. But if you go, hey, I just got a 4-year scholarship to be a mechanic, oh, suddenly it's very impressive. So, you know, I mean, I've said this a million times. We didn't only win World War II because we had a superior fighting force. We won it because we had the ability to turn out an airplane every hour. I mean, Willow Run, a bomber came out every hour to the point where the Germans and the Japanese could not shoot them down fast enough. We were making planes almost as fast as they were able to make ammunition. And it was a pretty amazing time. I don't think we have that ability now. I mean, so much of our defense stuff comes from China and other countries. You know, the chip from here and this from that. And the idea that if we're in a bind and we need to do it ourselves, I'm not quite sure we could do it. I mean, this might sound kind of old-fashioned, but, you know, I grew up in a time when, you know, everything was made in Detroit and foreign cars are made in Indiana, you know. You know, stuff was made as far away as South Bend, Studebaker. Oh my God, South Bend, where's that? You know, so, I mean, I like that pride in America stuff. That's why I like Corvettes. That's why I like the GT40. I mean, I like the European stuff too, obviously, and the Japanese stuff, but I would hate to see us lose that edge, you know.
Well, if you were going to build a new car, what kind of car would it be?
You know, what's interesting, of all the cars that I have, the one I find the most pleasurable.
Put that in front of your face, Mario.
Oh, the one I find the most pleasurable is my little Lotus Elan. You know, it's like if you live in Hollywood, going out with supermodels is great, but sometimes the cashier at the mini mart is just more fun. And I have to admit, there's nothing. You know, it's interesting when you talk to young automotive enthusiasts today, guys in their late teens and 20s, and you talk about a light car. They say the Porsche Carrera, 3,100 pounds. The Z06 Corvette, 3,100 pounds. They don't even know what 1,400 pounds is. You know, when you get in a Lotus Elan, they go, this is unbelievable. It's like they can't believe how light to the touch everything is and how easily it changes direction. And I mean, you know, the Bugatti Veyron is an amazing piece of machinery, but there's still laws of physics. And when you need to shift 4,200 pounds quickly, there's a lot of things that come into play there. When you need to do it with 1,400 pounds, it's amazing how swiftly it can be done.
Yeah, but if we built 1,400-pound cars, we'd get 40 miles to the gallon. Why would we want that?
Well, that's true. I mean, nowadays you have to have, you know, on my website, some kid wrote and says, I'm 26, I don't get these old cars. You know, if a car doesn't have air conditioning, navigation, and a killer sound system, why would you want to drive